Okay, in our last video tutorial, we put wall sections, created them, and put them into our sheet. Now what we're going to do is create a 3D wall section. And we're going to create a 3D wall section out of this wall section here. Also, something I did between tutorials is I went and I renamed these not tutorials. I went and renamed these wall sections, and you'll see here I named it 04 wall section because if I click on this, its detail number is 4. And what does that mean? Well, that's the number. If I minimize this down, that's the number that's going to be put here in the wall section. So this is detail 4, 4, and if I name it 04 wall section, then all those related. Remember that the second number here is the page number. So we're going to make a 3D out of this view right here using that wall section. And to do that, we're going to create another wall section. So I'm going to duplicate, and once again with detailing that view. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is change the direction of the view itself. Okay, so I'll maximize that so maybe you can see this a little bit better. And to create a 3D view, what we have to do is go into 3D views, and I'm going to create a duplicate view, and we'll set duplicate detailing. And of course it'll show me that view that I had earlier before. Okay, and I'll make a copy of it and open the original. I don't need the original. And then I'm going to rename this, and we're going to call it 3D wall section, or 3D 04 wall section. So I'm going to rename it 3D, and it's section 04 wall section. Now I'm going to reshape this view by right-clicking on the little icon up here, and we're going to reset the view and orient the view, okay, to a section, and we're going to orient it to section 04. So basically what it's going to do is create a series of clipping panes. It's going to orient it to 04, and then if I click on it, you'll see it's three-dimensional. Okay, so now my whole wall section here has been clipped, and I can look at it from this side or from this side, okay, depending on what I want to view. Definitely, probably. Now, this is a clipping box right here that all sections use. Remember, it's the part of that section that I showed you before, and I can move it and include, well, that's not a very good move, okay, but I can move it here and I can include more in the section, but I don't need that much. All I want is this. So I'm going to play with this a little bit. What I'd like to do is see more of these bar joists. Maybe if I went around here and then use this to clip here. Oop, that's too far. Yeah, maybe something like that. So I see the bar joist. Maybe I'll rotate it. Whoops. Maybe I'll rotate it up just a hair so we can even see more of it, because I don't need to see that much of the top, right? Yeah. And so now I can see all those elements in 3D. There's my beams, my concrete wall, you know, everything. And so I can use this to help explain what I've done structurally. Here's my panel, my topping, and so now I've got this view, this 3D wall view. So I'm just going to close that for right now, that view, and I'm going to go over here, and once again it's just a drag and drop. Okay, now let's see, since that view, and we're going to see that, whoa, that's not, I want that a lot bigger than that. So since I want this a lot bigger, what I have to do is go back to the scale of the axonometric, the original 3D axometric. And so I could activate this view would be one way to do it. So I'm going to activate the view. When I do, now I'm in that view, and you'll see it was set to 1/8 inch scale. So I'm going to set it now to 1/2 inch scale. And since it's an axonometric, it can be set to scale, right? If it was a perspective, it couldn't. A perspective 3D view can't be set to scale. So I'm going to deactivate the view now so I can move it, and I'm going to grab it and move it down here in alignment with my other views. Looking good. Probably want to turn that box off. Probably want to move this. Okay, so I'm going to move it, try to line it up maybe with there. Let's go activate the view again, and let's get rid of the clipping plane. So once again, I'm going to turn off the crop region, and it's a three-dimensional. Oh, we're going to hide. That's right, I'm going to hide and view that crop area. Okay, so we don't have that cropping box around it. And then remember, let's deactivate this view. And then remember I said, well, I have to resize this. Okay, so what I'm going to do to resize it, I'm going to click on the view, and then my little dots are going to appear, and now I can stretch that line out. Okay, now my text is going to be set on the template annotation tag is what they call them. Okay, and so looking good. Now one thing that I can see right here, okay, is that my slab is missing. So I evidently had my slab turned off. So let's go back into here and activate this view, and then I'm going to turn on hide, and when I do, here's my slab. Okay, so I'm going to unhide it and then turn hide back off, and now, yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, now if I wanted the same text that I had over here on this, oh, let's go in here and deactivate view. Then I could go into this view, and I think I can do it right from here. I can go activate view, I can select this, okay, and I can say select all instances visible in view, and then I'm going to copy it, and then deactivate the view, go back into this view, deactivate it. Now I could do this from view to view if I open their views, but for right now I'm just going to do it this way. And since it's probably going to give me a holder down here, we're going to go into modify, and we're going to paste, and we're going to paste I don't know if I should use a select view. Let's see. I don't want to do that. Let's go here, paste, and we want to paste to clipboard. Okay. Now, evidently, the text is being kind of rotated here. But it came in. Okay. And so once again, I kind of have to select this stuff. Probably want to move it around some, line it up so that it's the right location. It's pointing to the things that I want to. Now in this 3D view, the assemblies are probably more important than the components. So you might just you might not as heavily. I wouldn't do all the components here. You know, I would. Let's. Matter of fact, just to give you an example. Since this is a 3D view and we're just going to try and orient ourselves, I would just do the primary thing. So here, instead of I would call this what we called it before. Just call it the system family or the assembly family, and that is a metal stud or a metal deck with our rigid insulation, R40 rigid insulation. Okay, and that's plenty of information for this 3D view. There's no sense in pointing out all those details. Okay. In the case of the structure, probably want to keep most of that detail. I'm going to go Control on the structure. So once again, this is open web, so I'm pointing to my open web joist. Oops. So I might do that. Point to my open web joist. I've got my column there, girder, and the girder is now up here. So I'm going to point to my girder right there. And once again, I can go back through and correct all these. I'm not going to do this on video. And then I'm ready to print. And the very last one is to print this prelim, and how to print this prelim.